Hello. I am really excited to tell you a little bit about my new album coming out today called Isolation Dreams. See that? Yeah. It's an album that I put together with a little bit of pieces of the past and mostly wrote, entirely recorded and produced, mastered and released all within the first 4 months of this isolation of 2020. It's one of those things that kind of came about when I was thinking, when teaching in studio lessons came to be an impossibility, and I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got a lot of time on my hands. Well, we'll get some gardening done this year, and then I started thinking about all the songs that I've got rolling around in my head that I've never taken seriously, and I thought, I've got time. I'm going to do this. So I would come up into the studio here at night, after supper and watching Star Trek, of course. Who doesn't watch Star Trek, right? Um, and I would just kind of like, turn on the computer, open up the workstation software, and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I started with a few pieces that were slight demos that I had done before. I never recorded them seriously, anything beyond a video on my phone, which I tend to do, and then I share them to Facebook, and it's kind of like my poor man's version of copyright, so that somebody would see that I did this song on such and such a date. Um, there's two songs on. Did I mention Isolation Dreams yet? Um, on here, one is "Oh Darling" and "When I Get to You." And those are two of the older songs on here. If I could, I suppose would be a slightly less old song. But there was two songs of the 10 full songs that are on the album that were all, completely conceived and recorded and put out to the world in this first couple months of the isolation. I've honestly really enjoyed this time. Um, I've had time to do the things that I want to do, things that I need to do, and there's been kind of like a huge catharsis in recording the songs on Isolation Dreams, because if you do anything creative, you know that your brain never really stops working on what you're doing. And whether you are a gardener or a painter or a landscaper or a home renovator or a musician like myself, your brain is always partially engaged in the things that you're passionate about. And these 10 songs for me are a real catharsis that way. I almost feel as if, like I said in a Facebook post, I feel as like I've given birth emotionally. Um, that since the first solo release I did back in 2006, an album called Night Vision, which was mostly instrumental. Um, from 2006 till now, there's been so many ups and downs and ebbs and flows in my life, emotionally, spiritually, psychically, responsibility wise, uh, that I don't know that I really had a point in there, now that I think about it, that was really an accurate representation of what I was at that time. So to have released much in that time maybe would have been um, short sighted. I have to let my dog in. My dog's here. He's coming in. Hey, puppy. Here's my dog. You could probably hear him breathing. He's my constant companion up here. He was with me through every second of hi puppy, every second of recording the album. So people have said sometimes, like, there's always that question, oh, what kind of music do you do? Oh, I play guitar. Oh, do you do Neil Young? If you want me to, I can. Sure. No, but for the music that I write, I'm primarily a fingerstyle guitar player, and I've kind of made a conscious decision to let that instrumental sort of douchey fingerstyle stuff go, where you're just beating on the guitar and slapping harmonics, and turn my focus to melody and harmony, and I've indulged the lyricist in me. It wasn't probably until maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I really took the lyricist in me seriously enough to put my poetry to music and then tweak it so that it fits, rhythmically. Um, so there are, and in contrast to Night Vision, there are one, two, three instrumental songs on this, um, and they're all melodically driven. And me being a bass player primarily, first before being a guitar player, um, that's the way my melody bias goes. I like the way bass can drive and steer. The bass player drives the bus to me. Everybody else is just along for the ride. Um, and so when I, as an individual, am recording all of the parts, whether it's guitars, drums, percussion, um, I'm still allowing the bass to occupy maybe 50% of the movement of the piece of music. It's to me, it's a beautiful instrument, and it's not always like aggressive bass. It's incidental bass. It's high register bass, where the bass guitar itself can play in the same sort of frequency range as like a human baritone singer, um, or even higher or even lower. And to me, that resonates in a really nice way, and I really, really like it. So I decided very consciously to let the bass take the lead on most of these songs. Now, it's not bass like, EDM dance music bass where you're like, you're pummeled by the subwoofer. It's going, no, it's melodic bass. Um, the bass weaves in and out of the lyrics and the guitar in such a way that I think that I like to think of it as the focus. For me, it's how I listen to music. It's how I perceive music first, by the integrity and the direction of the bass line. It's just me. So, anyways, on the album, did I mention the album Isolation Dreams? Yeah, yeah. I got a whole bunch of copies. If you would like one, you can find me on YouTube at the Resound Music channel. If you know me on Facebook, you already know me there. I put things on Instagram lately. I'm still getting used to how to work that, and TikTok of all things. Yes, there's the old guy amongst the kids putting up TikToks. I'm still getting used to how to work Instagram, so although I'm on there, you won't find much engagement yet until I figure out a way to really use it well. There was a fake account set up in my name many years ago, where there's 3 pictures that somebody took off my Facebook and started them under my name and left it there, and I don't have the inclination to complain enough about it to have it deleted, so I'm going to leave it. So you'll see my it's Mark Novoselic Music on Instagram if you want to look it up. So wrapping back around to Isolation Dreams, send me a message through any one of those places, and we'll figure out how to get a CD to you if you want. If you're into paying for music, if you're not into paying for music, you can stream it for free online. That is a topic for another discussion. Yeah, so it's like $20 Canadian for a CD. I'll be a little indulgent maybe and sign it for you with a gold Sharpie like it's a big deal. But I'll ship it to you anywhere in the world for free. $20 Canadian, and it's on its way to you. So any social media that you find me on, you'll find the first few singles that have been shared so far on all of the major streaming platforms. So I'm not going to list them off because you already know what they are. Um, but as we speak, the rest of the singles are being uploaded, and hopefully in a couple hours they should all be up, and my goal of having it out on July 20th, 2020 will be a reality. Yes. So I'm going to cut it short there. What I'm going to come back with in subsequent videos following this one is discussions on these songs. If you can see those. There's a few pieces on there where you might have a little eyebrow raised and go, what are you thinking? There's very deliberate thought behind a lot of this, some of the strangeness that you hear in there, all of the strangeness that you hear in there. But it's all very melodic. I want to make the entire listening experience a journey from song 1 to track 11. They're in a very particular order, in a particular way. It's to deal with the rigors of the isolation that we've all been under, and the quarantine, and now the breaking out of the quarantine, which is great as long as you're not one of those kind of people that thinks that you're Superman and you're immune to everything. But again, that is a topic for another discussion. Anyway, so I'm going to press the big red button, remind you about buying this bad boy online. If you're into buying music, you can find it on iTunes. If you are not into buying music, you can find it everywhere else. So for everybody who's shown support through advanced sales and messages and likes and shares on all the social media platforms, I thank you. Daddy loves you very much. And yeah, so the songs are uploading right now. Hopefully tomorrow I can come back with a much shorter video and talk about how the first day of release has gone. It's a big deal for a little guy like me. Anyways, I'm going to push the red button here and say thank you. Bye-bye.